Hey guys, ever wondered how some businesses seem to know exactly what their competitors are doing with their Facebook ads? It's like they have a secret window into their rival strategies. But what if I told you that you too can peek behind the curtain and gather all the insights that you need without any spy gadgets or secret missions? Today, we're diving into the world of scraping the Facebook ads library. And trust me, it's not as shady as it sounds. It's actually super empowering. We're going to use 3 powerful tools to automate this process, and by the end of this video, you'll be the one with the inside scoop. Ready to outsmart your competition? Stick around to see how. So first of all, thanks for coming back, and a big welcome to all the new subscribers joining us today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jake Dawson, and I'm here to bring you the latest in AI sales automation and workflow hacks in a way that's easy to understand and apply. And as always, remember that everything that we cover here is designed to help you succeed. These are not just theories, but actionable strategies that you can use right now. And if you're new here or looking for even more ways to level up, don't forget to check out the Skool Community that's linked below. Inside, you'll find exclusive Make.com templates, including the exact one that we're using today, that you can import and start using immediately. We've built a whole space for learners and doers just like you, where you can ask questions, get direct help, and connect with like-minded folks ready to take action. And of course, you can always subscribe and hit that bell button to get notified of our bi-weekly videos, live sessions, and more. Let's jump right in. So why would you want to scrape the Facebook ads library? Imagine being able to see exactly what kind of ads your competitors are running, the strategies they're using, and the kind of engagement that they're getting. It's like having a cheat sheet for your marketing plan. In this video, we'll walk you through setting up a scraper using Apify to collect ad data, automate the process with Make.com, and neatly organize everything in Google Sheets. Whether you're a marketer looking to up your game or just someone who loves a good tech hack, this one's for you. Let's get started. So, first things first, we need a few tools: Apify, Make.com, and Google Sheets. Apify is what we'll use to scrape the Facebook ads library. Make.com is what we'll use to set up this automation, and Google Sheets is where we'll store all the data. If you've ever tried to copy and paste details manually, you know how painful it can be. This setup will save you hours. Let's start by setting up our Google Drive. Open Google Drive and create a new folder, name it Facebook Scraping. This is where we'll keep everything organized. If you saw my previous video on scraping Facebook group posts, this is a similar setup. Now, inside that folder, right-click and create a new Google Sheet. Name it Facebook Ads. This is where all of our scraped data will live. Inside the sheet, let's set up some initial columns. In Sheet 1, create a column and name it Search URL. This is where we'll paste the URL from Facebook Ads library to tell the scraper what we're looking for. Now, let's go grab that URL. Open Google and search for Facebook Ads library. Click on the first link and it'll take you straight there. Once inside, you'll see some filters at the top. First, choose the country. Let's go with the United States since we want to see ads running there. Next, select the ad category. You'll see options like politics, property, employment, financial products, or just all ads. Let's select all ads so we get the full picture. Now enter a search keyword. Facebook will pull up a list of ads running with those keywords. Once the results load, go to the address bar and copy the entire URL. That's your search URL. Head back to your Google Sheet and paste it into the search URL column. So this tells our scraper exactly what we're looking for. Before we set up the scraper, let's organize our Google Sheet a little bit better. At the bottom left of the sheet, click the plus sign to add a new tab. Name this one Data. This is where all the scraped ad data details will go. Now in the data sheet, add these columns: search URL, ad URL, page name, page URL, published platforms, ad title, ad text, ad CTA text, ad CTA link, add images or videos. These will store all of the details we pull from the Facebook ads library. Next, let's set up the scraper in Apify. So what's Apify? Basically, it's a web scraping and automation platform that lets you extract structured data from all sorts of websites, including Facebook ads library. It's got ready-to-go tools called actors that do all the heavy lifting for you. No need to mess with the coding or complicated setups. Just plug in your parameters and it pulls the data for you. And the best part, it's cheap. You're looking at around 75 cents per 1,000 ads, which is nothing compared to the time that you'd spend manually gathering this info. Plus, Apify even throws in a $5 free credit every month for just signing up, which means you can scrape a whole bunch of ads without paying a dime. First, log into Apify. If you don't have an account already, go ahead and sign up. It's free. Once you're in, look at the left side of your screen. You'll see a navigation bar. Click on the store section. This is where all the pre-built actors live. Now in the search bar at the top, type Facebook Ads Library and hit enter. You'll see a few options, but the one we want is made by Curious Coder. Click on it. Once you're in the actors page, you'll see a quick overview of what it does. It basically grabs ad details like text, images, CTA buttons, and more. Scroll down a bit and you'll also see pricing details, but remember, you've got that free $5 credit to start with. Now, let's set up the scraper. There's a field that asks for a search URL. This is where you paste the URL that you grabbed from Facebook Ads Library earlier. Right below that, you'll see an option for total number of records. For now, set it to 20 so we can test things out. There are some other settings here, like filtering ads by page URL, but we won't mess around with those right now. Let's keep it simple. Once everything is set, click Save and Start. Now sit back and let Apify do its thing. It'll take a minute or two depending on how many ads it's pulling. When it's done, click on the Run page and you'll see the results in a nice organized table. You'll see the ad text, links, images, and more all scraped automatically. No more manually copying and pasting. Now, let's take things to the next level and automate this whole process with Make.com so you don't have to run the scraper manually every time. Make.com is a powerful automation tool that connects different apps and lets them work together. Think of it like setting up a robot to do your repetitive tasks. If you don't have an account yet, go ahead and sign up. Once you're logged in, look to the left side of the screen, just like in Apify, and click on Scenarios. This is where all your automations live. If you've never created one before, don't worry, we're starting from scratch. Click on the big button at the top that says Create a New Scenario. A blank screen will open, which is where we build our first automation. First, name the scenario to something like Facebook Ads Library Scraper, so you can find this later easily. Next, let's set up the trigger, the thing that tells Make.com when to start running the automation. Click on the first module, search for Google Sheets, and select Search Rows. If you haven't connected your Google account yet, you'll need to do that here. Once connected, choose the Google Sheet where we stored our Facebook Ad Library URLs earlier. Select the Facebook Ad spreadsheet and choose Sheet 1. That's the sheet where we pasted our search URL. Now, we need to connect Apify. Click on the plus sign to add another module, then search for Apify. Select Run an Actor. If you haven't connected Apify to Make.com before, you'll see an option to Add Connection. Click that and it'll ask for an API token. To get this, go back to Apify through the link they provided. Copy the API token from there and paste it into Make.com and hit Save. Boom. Apify is now connected. Now that we've got Apify connected to Make.com, it's time to hook everything up properly. Click on the drop-down that says Actor. This is where you tell Make.com exactly which Apify tool to use. Look for Facebook Ad Library Scraper and select the one made by Curious Coder. That's our guy. There's also an option called Run Synchronously. Set this to Yes. What this does is it ensures Make.com waits for Apify to finish scraping before moving on to the next set. Otherwise, you could end up pulling in data before it's even finished scraping, which is basically like trying to eat your popcorn before the movie starts. Frustrating and incomplete. Now, let's talk about that input JSON. If that term makes you nervous, don't worry. It's just a fancy way of saying the settings we need to send to Apify. Go back to Apify and find the Facebook Ad Library Scraper. On the Actors page, you'll see two buttons, Manual and JSON. Click on the JSON button. This will open up a block of text that contains all the parameters needed for the scraper to run. Highlight everything in that box and copy it. Now go back to Make.com, find the Input JSON field inside that Apify module, click inside it, and paste and match style. Now, if you're using Mac, paste without formatting. If you're on Windows, you'll see a weird spacing or extra characters. Just delete it and paste it again. It happens. Now, we need to fine-tune a couple of settings. First, check the count field. This controls how many ads get scraped at a time. It should be set to 20 right now, but if you want to scrape more, you can bump this up. Just remember, the more ads you scrape, the longer it takes. Next, we need to make sure the scraper is pulling the right ads. In the JSON code, look for the part that says search URL. Right now, it might have a placeholder URL there. Delete that, replace it with the actual URL from our Google Sheet. This way, every time the scraper runs, it grabs ads based on the search term we provided. Once that's done, click Save. Now we're ready to actually run the scraper inside make.com. But before we do that, we need a way to grab the results. Click on the plus sign to add a new module, search for Apify again, and this time select Get Dataset Items. This module pulls the scraped data from Apify and makes it usable in make.com. Now we need to tell it which dataset to pull from. Click on the Dataset ID field and then choose the default dataset ID from the first Apify module. This links the two modules together so make.com knows exactly where to pull the data from. Next, look for the limit field. This controls how many results we retrieve at a time. Set this to the same number we used earlier, 20 in this case, so everything stays consistent. Now hit save and then run once. This will test the entire setup. If everything is working, you should see make.com trigger Apify, wait for it to scrape the data, and then pull the results into make.com. Give it a minute or two to finish because scraping takes time, especially if there are lots of ads. Once it's done, check the output. The data should be there, but depending on how Facebook structures its ads, it might look a little messy at first. That's normal. We just need to clean it up a bit. So let's organize this data so it actually makes sense. Ads run on multiple platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and different audience networks. But instead of just lumping them all together, let's categorize them. First, we need to add an iterator module. Click on the plus sign to add a new module. In the search bar, type Iterator and select it. Now, in the array field, choose the publisher platform array from the results pulled in from Apify. What this does is break down all the platform an ad is running on so we can organize them neatly in Google Sheets. Without this step, you might end up with a jumbled mess of platform names, and we don't want that. Click Save when you're done. And now let's clean things up even further by aggregating the text. Click on the plus sign again, search for Tools, and select the Text Aggregator action. In the settings here, set the source module to the iterator we just created. For the text, choose the value from the iterator module and separate it with a comma. This way, if an ad runs on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger, it'll be displayed as Facebook, Instagram, Messenger instead of 3 separate rows. Click Save to store your settings. Next, we need to start setting up routes so that we can handle different types of ads correctly. To do this, we'll define a few routes in make.com. Think of routes like different paths for the data to take depending on what kind of ad it is. Click on the plus sign again and search for router. This will allow us to create different paths for different types of ad formats. Once you've added it, click on the first routes plus sign and search for iterator. We're doing this so that we can specifically identify ads that use cards, like carousel posts with multiple images. In the iterator module, choose the cards array inside the snapshot. This will loop through the cards array, pulling out multiple images if an ad is a carousel post. That way, instead of only grabbing the first image in an ad, we'll capture every image included. Click Save to store this. Now, we need to aggregate this array data so that everything stays neat when it goes into Google Sheets. Click on the plus sign, search for Array Aggregator, and add that module. In the settings, set the source module to the iterator. The fields to aggregate should include body for ad text, CTA text for call to action buttons, link URL for the ad's main link, video HD URL if there's a video, and original image URL. Click Save when you're done. All right, we've gathered and cleaned up the data. Now it's time to send everything to Google Sheets. Click on the plus sign one more time and search for Google Sheets. Select Add a Row. For the spreadsheet, navigate to the Facebook scraping folder we set up earlier, then select the Facebook Ads Google Sheet. Make sure you're sending the data to the correct sheet. In this case, it's data. Now, map the columns correctly. The first column should contain the search URL from the first Google Sheets module. The second column should include the add URL, page name, and page URL, which we're pulling from the results of the Get Dataset Items module. For the third column, we need to make sure that the platforms where each ad is published are aggregated properly. Since we already set up the iterator and text aggregator in the previous steps, we're now going to use that consolidated text. This means all the platforms where an ad is running, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or Messenger. This will appear in a single line instead of being scattered in different places. If needed, you can tweak the text to make sure it's clear and readable before sending it to the sheet. Next, let's pull in the essential content from each ad. This includes the ad's title, text, call to action, and the main link. These are all coming from the Apify dataset we scraped earlier. So we just need to assign them to the correct fields in Google Sheets. Now let's handle the media elements, starting with videos. If an ad contains a video, we need to extract the video's HD URL. To do this, go to the Array Aggregator module and locate the field called Video HD URL. Click on it and set the number to 1, which means we're pulling only the first video from the dataset. If an ad has multiple videos, this step can be adjusted later to capture more, but for now, we're keeping it simple. For images, it's a similar process. Click on the Array Aggregator module again, but this time look for Original Image URL. Click on it and add 1 inside the brackets. This tells Make.com to grab the first image. Now copy the setup for the next few columns, changing the number in the brackets from 1 to 2 to 3 and so on. This ensures that if an ad contains multiple images, like a carousel post, we capture all of them in separate columns. Once that's done, save your settings. Now let's set up filtering so we can route different types of ads properly. Click the settings icon between the router and the iterator modules. Here, we're going to set up a filter specifically for carousel ads. Label it carousel ads so we know what it's for. Now, we need a condition that checks whether an ad contains multiple cards, which means it's a carousel ad. Select the cards array and use the numeric operator greater than with a value of 0. This means that if an ad has 1 or more cards, it will follow this route. Click Save to lock in the filter. Now, let's move on to the second route, which will handle video ads differently. Click on the plus sign in the second route to add a new module. Search for Tools and select the Set Variable action. Name the variable Videos so we know what it represents. Now, set the variable's value to the Snapshot Videos array from the Apify dataset. This ensures we capture video ads separately from static image ads. Click Save when you're done. Finally, let's send all of this to Google Sheets. Click on the plus sign again and search for Google Sheets. Select Add a Row. In the settings, find the Facebook scraping folder and then select the Facebook Ads Google Sheet. Make sure the sheet name is set to Data so that everything gets stored in the right place. Now, we just need to map the columns properly. The first column should contain the search URL from the first Google Sheet module. The next few columns will include the add URL, page name, and page URL, which we're pulling from the Get Dataset Items module. The image and video URLs we set up earlier should also be mapped in their respective columns. Next, we need to configure the extraction of video URLs so that any ads containing videos are correctly added to Google Sheets. Open up the videos array and look for the field called Video HD URL. That's the direct link to the high-quality version of the video. Click on it and make sure it's set to pull only the first video for now, just to keep things clean. Once that's done, hit Save. Next, we need to set up a filter so that only video ads follow this route. Click on the settings icon between the router and the second route's tool module. This is where we define a filter to separate video ads from everything else. Name the filter Video Ad so it's easy to track later. Now add 2 conditions. First, check if the length of the cards array is equal to 0, meaning this ad doesn't contain any carousel images. Second, check if the length of the video array is greater than 0, meaning that there's at least 1 video in the ad. If both conditions are true, this route will process the video ad. Click Save when you're done. Now, let's take care of the single image ads by setting up a new route. These ads are straightforward ads with just one image, no carousel, no videos, just a simple static post. Click the router to add a new route, and in this new route, create a new module to extract the image data. Click the plus sign again, search for Tools, and select Set Variable. In the settings, name the variable Images so we know what it represents. Click Save. Now we need to make sure all of this data actually ends up in Google Sheets. Click the plus sign, search for Google Sheets, and select the Add a Row action for the spreadsheet. Locate the Facebook scraping folder and select the Facebook ads, that Google Sheet we set up earlier, making sure that the sheet name is data, so everything is stored again in the correct place. Before saving, we need to map everything correctly. The first column should contain the search URLs from the first Google Sheets module. The next few columns should include the add URL, page name, and the page URL. These are coming from the Get Dataset Items module. Now, make sure to handle all the media files correctly. If the ad contains an image, extract the original image URL from the images array and map it to the correct column in the sheet. For videos, use the video HD URL we set up earlier. Once everything is mapped properly, click Save. And now let's do a final test to make sure the automation works end to end. Click Run once and let it process a few ads. Once it's done, check Google Sheets to see if everything is organized correctly. Image ads should have image URLs, video ads should have video URLs, and carousel ads should have multiple images properly structured. And that's it. You've just mastered the art of scraping the Facebook ads library like a pro. So, get ready to use this system to outsmart your competition and supercharge your marketing strategy. It's simple, it's powerful, and now you've got it all set up. Hey, if you run into any issues or need more help, leave a comment below. I'll be happy to assist. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more easy to follow automation tips. And if you're serious about taking your automation game to the next level, check out our Skool Community. It's linked below, and inside you'll find exclusive templates, resources, and a supportive group of like-minded people ready to help you succeed. Plus the exact template that we used right in this video, it's in there, so don't miss it. Oh, and before you click away, here's a video that you'll probably want to watch next. It's packed with even more tips to help you crush it with automation. I'll see you there.